The holidays are here, and you know what that means. Cookies, and lots of them. During the holidays, I love making Christmas cookies to give away as gifts to friends and family. But sometimes, baking dozens of Christmas cookies in different varieties can be a stressful undertaking. And that's why a classic buttery shortbread is my Christmas cookie recipe of choice. It's easy to make, but you can transform it into something completely different just by adding a few extra ingredients. And today, I'll show you how you can transform one batch of shortbread dough into coconut lemon bars, cranberry pistachio slices, and salted caramel pecan thumbprints. Making shortbread couldn't be easier. You just mix together some butter, sugar, flour, a little bit of salt and vanilla, and you're ready to bake. We have 1.5 cups of room temperature butter. And to this, we're going to mix in 1 cup of icing sugar. You want to make sure your butter is at room temperature. If your butter is fridge cold, you won't be able to properly combine the sugar. But if your butter is melted, then your cookies are going to be rather oily and flat after they've been baked. So you just mix the butter and sugar until it gets smooth and creamy. You can, of course, do this the old-fashioned way with a bowl and spoon, but I'm just too lazy. So once we cream the butter and sugar, we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So we're going to give that a quick stir. And to that, we're going to gently mix in 3 cups of flour and 1/3 cup of cornstarch. It'll be easier if you mix in the flour and the cornstarch in batches so that when you turn on the mixer, flour doesn't go flying all over the place. And that's it! That's your cookie dough. Now at this point, you can roll out your dough and cut out little Christmassy shapes, or you can divide your dough into 3 pieces, which is what we're going to do. So to the first batch of dough, we're going to mix in 1/4 cup of shredded coconut. And we're just going to press this into the bottom of an 8-inch square pan, which we've lined and greased with foil, just to make it easier to dislodge the cookies once they've been baked and cooled. So when that's done, we're going to bake this in a preheated 350-degree oven for about 18 to 20 minutes, or until the edges are just lightly golden brown. So while that's baking, we're going to get on with our lemon filling, which is nothing more than just a few eggs, some lemon, flour, and sugar. So we're going to mix 3 eggs. And to this, we're going to mix in 1.5 cups of sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour, the grated zest of 2 lemons, and the juice of 3 lemons. So we're just going to give all of that a good stirring. So once the crust comes out of the oven, you'll want to pour the lemon mixture immediately over the hot crust. You don't want to let the crust cool too much because otherwise the lemon filling might seep through the shortbread and you'll end up getting lemon flavored shortbread instead of lemon bars. And we're going to want to bake this for about 15 to 20 minutes or until the edges are firm and the middle is still a little bit jiggly and wobbly. So while the lemon bars are baking, we're going to get started on our second batch of cookies. We're going to chop up 1/2 cup of pistachios and 1/2 cup of cranberries. So once you've chopped up all of your cranberries and pistachios, you want to add them to your second batch of dough and just mix them all together. So once you've blended in your cranberries and your pistachios, you just want to form your dough into a log that's about 1.5 inches in diameter. So once you've formed your log, you want to wrap that in some saran wrap and let it rest in the fridge for about 1 hour to about 1.5 hours. And whenever you're ready to bake your cookies, just slice them into 1/4 inch thick rounds and pop them in a 350-degree oven for 10 to 13 minutes, and you're done. And now for our last batch of dough, all we're going to do is roll out little rounds of cookies about the size of a walnut. Then we're going to roll these little balls of dough into some finely chopped pecans which have been lightly toasted. And after you finish rolling your little balls of dough into your chopped pecans, you just want to arrange them onto a baking sheet. and flatten them lightly with the palm of your hand. Now here comes the fun part. With your thumb, you're going to want to make an indentation into the middle of your dough. But you don't want to press down all the way, otherwise when you bake your cookies, the filling might leak through the bottom. So when that's done, we're going to want to bake these in a preheated 350-degree oven for about 10 to 13 minutes, or until it's just lightly golden brown around the edges. And now for the caramel. You can, of course, make caramel the old-fashioned way by melting sugar until it reaches a certain temperature, and then adding cream, and then adding butter. Or you can make caramel by simply boiling a can of condensed milk. You just have to put a can of condensed milk in a pot of boiling water for a few hours, making sure that the can of condensed milk stays submerged in the water the whole time. And after about 2.5 to 3 hours, you'll get a can of sticky, sweet caramel. So once pecan thumbprints have been baked, you can just deepen the indentation a little bit with the back of the spoon, just to make sure that you get a lot of caramel filling inside. Then all you have to do is dollop a little bit of caramel into the middle of these cookies, followed by a good sprinkling of coarse sea salt. And it looks like our Christmas baking is almost done. One dough, endless possibilities. Christmas baking doesn't have to be stressful or difficult. So get into the kitchen and spread the Christmas joy. Happy holidays! And today, I'll show you how you can transform one batch of shortbread dough into coconut lemon. Caught when I'm making bread dough into... Oh! Always! I forget what I'm making! Okay.
Okay, fix your hair.
Coconut lemon bars, cranberry pistachio slices, and salted caramel pecan thumbprints. Coconut lemon bars, cranberry pistachio slices, and salted caramel pecan thumbprints. Okay. Butter's melted, and your cookies are going to have a flat, oily top. Properly combine the sugar. And if your butter is melted, butter? It's like butter. But I'm just too lazy. Why isn't it working? Is that it? Yeah. Jeez. But I'm just too lazy. Lashes and your chopped cranberries. You just want to grab your dough. Oh, grab it? Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. You can, of course, make caramel the old-fashioned way by melting sugar and then